This week I saw something so baffling that it's really genuinely making me question if the human brain is devolving, becoming smoother, less wrinkles. It's the case of the TikTok giant. It is easily debunked and has been multiple times now, but then they just throw away the truth that's facing them because they prefer to live in the magic of there being giants walking amongst us here.
Good point, Charlie. People repeatedly ignore the truth in the face of unapologetic facts, perhaps in the pursuit of a life that's more interesting. But why? Why, no matter how many times we are proven wrong, do we try to stick to an unsubstantiated claim? In the original TikTok video of this giant, we see a tall figure standing on top of a mountain. However, this has been proven to be a tower multiple times. And yet, people still believe that it is a giant and have theorized that the US government covered it up by putting the tower there to keep the truth from us. Don't get me wrong, the government definitely covers up a lot.
The CIA killed John F. Kennedy.
And the FBI killed Martin Luther King.
But them covering up supposed giants leads to a lot more questions. Let's start from the beginning. How do people decide what to believe? A person's belief or doctrine is something that they are willing to do just about anything to substantiate. Argue, fight, or even die. How do you come up with your beliefs? If I had to guess, it was, well, for lack of a better word, a guess. For most of our beliefs, we don't sit down and have these deep-heated debates with ourselves trying to find the truth. In fact, whenever we challenge our own beliefs, it's typically after we have already established our beliefs, and it ends up being an argument where you constantly burn straw men. Beliefs are often taught to us, be that through marketing, religion, culture, or upbringing. Whenever you establish yourself in a belief, you will find people that agree with you, thus adding to the validity of your beliefs. This can be very problematic. Whenever you look at groups such as flat earthers, a group of people that believe the earth is flat and that the government is covering it up, why? Well, back to Charlie's point, there is a desire for a larger-than-life life. The idea of a government or organization hiding the very shape of the planet we live on is at least somewhat interesting, and to some, it is definitely more interesting than being stuck on a ball floating aimlessly in space. While I do believe that a desire for a more interesting life has a major role in these beliefs, that is only a fraction of the issue at hand. Once a person gets assigned the label of conspiracy theorist, it becomes their identity. Therefore, whenever you challenge or attack their beliefs, you are, in a way, attacking them personally. Thus, when you attack them, you attack their group, their family. This leads to that person adding layers and layers, walls and walls to protect themselves and their beliefs. Back to the giant on the mountain theory. We see a tall figure which was later proven to be a tower on top of the mountain. But then people came in screaming that it was a cover-up, despite that tower being there for at least 8 years. There are also the stalking videos that the original poster made, which seem to be easily and obviously faked. But despite this, there is a loud minority of people who are still very, very adamant that the government is covering it up. That they are covering it up. They did it. A powerful phrase, a huge accusation, and yet we all throw it around so much. Whether we accuse them of inconveniencing us or of covering up grand conspiracies, it doesn't matter, all the additional things and circumstances around a situation. It always leads to, they did it. They hurt us. They are hiding this from us. Why are we so quick to accuse them of something? Because defending your group is an innate component of humanity. In the book How Minds Change by David McCraney, it mentions an interview that Mr. McCraney did with a sociologist, Brooke Harrington. Quote, SD is greater than PD. Social death is scarier than physical death. Meaning that if a person has established themselves in a group, whether that be flat earthers or giant truthers, it is safer for them to do everything they can to stick to that group and its beliefs than it is to change their mind, even if there is evidence that it is a false belief. In episode 2 of Vsauce's Minefield, titled Conformity, we are shown a recreation of an experiment wherein participants are told to match the length of one line to another. The catch here is that 5 out of the 6 participants are told to answer incorrectly. So what happens? The only actual participant says the wrong answer as well, despite that answer being clearly incorrect. Why? Fitting in is integral to humanity, not with all crowds, but definitely with some. We can see a broader scale of this with social media. A good example of this could be the giant truthers. If you look at the comments of these TikToks, you see tons and tons of comments about how this is a government cover-up, how everyone who says it's just a tower is a Fed. If you were a person with no particular beliefs on giants, all these different people saying the same thing could send you down a rabbit hole that leads you to the belief giants are real, and now for you, giants are real. Anyone else that also believes giants are real is your friend, and anyone that tries to say that giants aren't real is the enemy of your group, the them that you are against. And even if enough proof comes out disproving that belief, you likely won't give up that belief, because to give up that belief is to be dead to your group. Social death is scarier than physical death. But how does one overcome this? How do we get past the fear of social death and head towards a different, more grounded belief? Let's look at the process for someone to change their mind. For a long time, the origin of animals was often misunderstood. This was known as spontaneous generation, because for these people, it seemed that animals would simply appear without any specific environmental cause. Up until the 19th century, it was common to believe that salamanders were born of fire. Today, that belief makes no sense because we know that salamanders lay eggs in water, and sometimes they get in the logs that we then burn, giving the illusion that they are born from fire. The issue is back then, they lacked knowledge. They didn't know what they didn't know. So whenever an authority says salamanders come from fire, that becomes the status quo or popular belief. When this belief was eventually proven false, people took the new information and assimilated it, adding to the salamander category in their brain lays eggs. But maybe this person has other beliefs, such as geese come from barnacles. But when they see this, then they may think, if salamanders come from eggs, then all animals must come from other animals, creating a new category of information in their head, accommodating for this information. This is a huge change. Not only did we assimilate new information, we accommodated it, creating a whole new category for information. Now we can take this new information and apply it to giants. People who see the video in question either believe giants are real or don't. So if they are a giant truther, this is just a classic case of confirmation bias. But in the case of the new believer, here is a visualization of what likely happened. First, a person sees the video of the giant thinking, that looks kind of like a giant. Then they go to the comments section to see dozens and dozens of people saying how the government is trying to cover this up. This then prompts them to look at the original poster's account, where they will find more videos adding to this illusion, leading them to the conclusion the government covered this up, meaning that giants are real, and this is proof. So does the human desire to understand and believe the impossible overcome the vast sea of knowledge that we have as an advanced society? Maybe. Nonetheless, I encourage you to think back on what you believe, discover how you came to believe that, then ask the impossible question: why? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, why don't you go and check out my video about AI companions and the potential social impact of them.